Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullah. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. How you doing, bro? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum.
I can hear you, Rabani.
Oh, okay.
Brother Edward, where you at, man?
Huh?
I was trying to reach Edward.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe something is blocking his
Right.
receiving. I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm.
So Edward, you there?
Alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Can you hear us?
Yeah. What?
I'm back with Edward again, man, trying to.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Tariq.
Walaikum assalam, bro, Imam. How are you?
Doing
And
good.
everyone else, pardon me.
Assalamu alaikum. Brother Imam.
Walaikum assalam.
Mhm.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Tariq.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, Rabbani.
Walaikum assalam. You got it working, huh?
I have, well, Adam could hear me. I couldn't hear myself.
I see.
I had
Okay.
no playback and I wasn't hearing anyone at all
I
if you
see.
guys were saying anything. So it was kind of weird there for a
Sorry.
minute.
You got it figured out.
Well, I'm on a different computer. I
Uh-huh.
usually use my Apple MacBook, and I'm on a Dell
Yeah.
computer, and the settings
Mhm.
are a little different, not radically different, but they are a little
Yeah.
different.
Mhm.
So had me there for a minute.
Yeah. That's good.
What's going on in
Always
the
need a
world?
challenge. Uh, I was just looking at these Chinese put together a workshop. Steel, metal. Unbelievable, man. This
Was
just
it the
leaving us
time?
behind.
Was it the time it took them to do it? I mean, what is it that you're fascinated by?
It's using different pieces of steel to in a regular um, car tire to develop uh, like a standing concrete, reinforced concrete. I mean, with reinforcement concrete.
Mhm.
So they're putting together this. It's a practical thing that they're putting together now, and they're using parts of steel. I mean, leftover metal from the site,
Hmm. Yep.
and they could take that and they'll put a vise on it. They put a I-beam, and then they put a plate at the top of that I-beam welded,
Okay.
and then they'll put a vise clamp, a vise itself, and you can move it around the shop, you know,
Huh. Okay.
and it won't, yeah, and you won't injure yourself when you come up on it because they have wheels. They have a set of wheels that you can just put your foot on and lift it up off the floor and move it any place in the shop. I said, okay. That's what happens when you're a worker, man. You become inventive, try to reduce problems, and you come up with
Right.
different ideas.
Right. Okay.
But if you're not doing nothing, you get nothing. You get nothing, man. So, I'm gonna use, God willing, I'll be using that idea when I do my workshop. You know, put that
So
in
but
my.
you have to build it. So the one thing is with the I-beam, whatever height the I-beam is, basically that is going to be it. They have no
Yeah,
way of
yeah.
reducing.
No, no. You're correct. You could adjust the height at the
Okay.
base.
At the
You
base,
know,
but by
and
how many?
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
by
you
the
can do
lift,
two,
by the
three.
lift you put at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah. Yeah, whatever your liking is, how do you like to work? You don't want to be
Hmm.
bending over, or you want something right comfortable,
Okay,
ergonomically, you know.
right.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
you ergonomically,
Hmm.
and you just had a tire, some rebars, bag of concrete, a piece of wood, piece of well, a backing, which is a
Okay.
piece of
So
plywood. Mhm.
back in the day, there were two names for that. You remember what those two names were?
Plywood, what are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about
I-beam or Graceline?
that whole process that you just talked about of them
No.
taking spare
Oh,
parts and making something to make
oh,
the
yeah,
job easier. Remember what we used to call that
yeah.
back in the day? There were two names for it.
Mammy made,
Well, you jerry rigging, right? Because that's what they said
jerry
Germans
rigging,
did. You jerry
jerry
rigging
rigging,
or
and
using the N-word rigging.
oh yeah. And there's another one. It was Mammy made, Mammy made. Uh, but no, it was it just shows your ingenuity, and
Oh, I know. I know. It
you know what
does.
my you know one of the some of the white boys used to say, they asked about me, after I left, and some of my old friends, younger friends that we used to they used to want to hang out with us, so they that group. So when I got back and I visited the church, one of them had grown up, of course, and they said, "Oh man, every time I go and try to, and visit the guys up at the block, he's one of those guys that goes to the bar all the time, And they were sitting down there, and they said, "Whatever happened to that clever one?" They called me the clever one. I said, I, I know they called me a whole lot of names, but never the clever one, huh? Because I was doing stuff in shops and like making some tools and stuff, man, and using all the machines. And for instance, I made some furniture with wrought iron, and made
Oh yeah,
chairs, a
yeah.
chair for my,
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. I remember doing
Oh
that
man.
myself. Tables and
Mm-hmm.
chairs. I made tables and chairs with iron
Mm-hmm.
like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
And
Okay.
you using the furnace to bend heat that iron, bending it.
Oh yeah, this old guy that I would work with him a few weeks out of every summer because I worked at this company, oil field supply company.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that owned the oil field supply company also owned a machine shop,
Yeah.
and he would send me to the machine shop for like a month every summer to help the machinist
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the stuff coming in from the oil field, some people would think it was
Yeah.
waste, but it could be machined, and you could
Exactly.
you could put it
And
you could put
yeah,
it
because
back
you
out
can't just
there.
order it. Uh-huh.
Right. So, in spare time, they'll get the guy that worked at Random Machine Shop. He hardly ever talked. And he basically worked there by
Mm-hmm.
himself. I don't know if he liked people,
Right.
didn't like
Exactly.
people, or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But for some
I could.
reason, he kind of liked me, and he'd take me
Mm-hmm.
aside and show me how to make little things, right? Like, he'd say, "Hey, let me show you how to do this because this is something you can make that'll help you around the house, or this is something you can make
Mm-hmm.
for your
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mom, or
Oh yeah.
whatever type of thing."
Uh-huh.
You know,
I
welding
was
and
just.
soldering and,
Yeah.
straightening and
I was
all kinds of stuff, man.
just like when I was my first architectural job. Basically, I worked with this builder. His name was Peter DeFeo. He was Italian, and he would have me go out to the site to see when I was doing the drawings and see how they were putting it together at the site, building houses.
Hmm.
And he had got a immigrant Italian stonemason, and that Italian stonemason didn't want nobody around him. And then when I came, he did just like your guy, right? Told me to come on and showed me how he positioned stonework and cut it to make it fit and make it and then the color. See, he was also he understood color combinations or how it would look once it's all up. You
Hmm.
just won't have one color stuck in the middle. That's all you use, and then all the rest of it is another color. He said, no, you mix it. You have to blend it.
Yeah.
So blending the color, setting the stone, cutting the fit to fit, and then he had a tolerance between the frame and the stone to tie it together. It was, I said, all right. So
All right. It
I said,
is
well,
18 after. We're waiting on a couple of people, but we're not going to wait any longer to at least open up this morning. Imam Tariq, will you open us up with the dua this morning?
Yes, sir. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
mean,
Mean. So, great stuff. I invited Dr. Ali to our meeting this morning. I'm hoping he has an opportunity to meet with us so that we, can make heads or tails of whether or not we want to try to engage with that credit union there in Mississippi. I mean, it's not, there's nothing crucial, there's no deadline, anything of that nature. Uh, just, just for myself, I keep inviting him because I just like some clarity on whether or not it's a possibility and whether it deserves, maybe some more research on our part, some more conversations with people, outside about that particular process, what you have to go through with NCUA, if you're going to move in and, get vetted to take over a credit union, all that type of thing, kind of see where they are. But hopefully he will join us. I did want to say, Mom Tariq, I was on the program last night that you and Sister Khalida put on. And I love your presentation on the S Corps versus partnerships, joint ventures, LLCs, et cetera, et cetera. And I know that it was mostly geared toward small business for the most part, and what we used to call mom and pop businesses, husband and wife, that particular type of thing. Have you done a program in the past on the benefits of a C corporation, even when you're small, in anticipation of growth? And the difference between choosing that particular path, even if you're a mom and pop business, as opposed to doing the S corporation.
That was a question to me, brother.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Pardon me. No, I haven't. Okay. I just do research and I put those presentations together from my research.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't have any experience in that field of taxes, et cetera, et cetera. And so I hope that's answering your question, because I'll be very careful.
Yeah, I mean, taxes is, I know you hit on the taxes, and the tax stuff was excellent, I think, for people who did not know that stuff. I've always been more directed toward growth. I mean, because I don't have a problem paying taxes. I mean, if I make enough money that I got to worry about taxes, I'm a pretty happy guy.
Mm.
But it's the growth part of it, I guess. I've always been told I've never had an S corporation or an LLC. I've always run C corporations or been involved with C corporations. Typically because I was always told by CPAs, accountants, corporate law type of people, that if you wanted to grow a business, in other words, if you wanted to bring in outside money, investors, and stuff like that, that C corporation is the way to go. And I have never actually thought about, if I had an S corporation, could I do the same thing? So I just wondered if you had ever looked into that part of it.
No, sir, because that's why I on another presentation that I put together, and I think that's the one, choosing your business name or choosing your business entity. I have that same disclaimer on there too, that the information that you just witnessed or being provided is for educational purposes only.
Right.
And we advise people to reach out to an attorney or CPA.
Okay.
And everything. Yeah, because that's basically just for educational purposes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll stay away from that one.
I don't blame you. Adam, you got your hand up, and you never have to raise your hand on a program that I'm a part of.
I'm trying to change, brother. Now you're gonna beat me up for changing. All right, I'll take it down, then. I won't do it again. I will not do it again. Excuse me.
Hey, look, the water's fine, man. Just jump in.
I mean, you're talking about a field of a practical field that I'm in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? You can always change from a S to a C. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
You can always change the form of, once you're a C S corp, no mean you're S corp forever. And once you're a C corp, doesn't mean you're a C corp forever. So you can always change. But for most people that are just starting out and don't know, for practical reasons, I suggest they do a S corp because they just started out.
Mhm.
They haven't learned how to operate as a corporation anyway. Because even when they go to corporations, they act like they're sole proprietorship for record keeping purposes. You follow me?
Right.
They got a checking account. I got a client right now that's a S corp, and he turned over his bank statements to me for the year for me to compile. And he act like that banking account is his pocket. He still operating like he's sole proprietorship, you know. So if he goes out, like one guy, if he goes out and buys his new girlfriend a gift, he buys it out of the corporate business. So I'm compiling all these transactions, or I have my staff compiling all these transactions from his bank account. 40% of the transactions ain't got nothing to do with business, personal stuff, which you can't deduct. So he's paying me to track his personal business. So absent somebody knowing all the stuff that they should do, and they go do something because someone suggested they do it. It's just like somebody giving you keys to a car, but you don't teach them how to drive.
Right. Yeah. Let's see.
So there are no absolutes because you can always change from an S corp to a C corp, right? And then
If you
at
do
that
that,
time,
if you do that, Adam, can you change back at any point?
now you just said that someone told you to change to a C corp if you want to bring
No,
in
no,
investors.
I've never been anything but a C corp. I'm just saying, if I
Well,
was an S
okay.
corporation, I became a C corporation. Can you go backwards from that
I have
back
to
to an
check.
S?
I have to check into that. I'm not sure that I've never had that, but again, if you change to a C corp because you're trying to invite investors in, why change back?
Well, let's say that for some reasons that you decide to get the investors out of the company. In other words, you buy their stock back from them. Basically, a
Well,
stock buyback program, pay them off, and you want to go back to something that was simpler, that you don't have to deal with a whole bunch of people, you know,
no, you
satisfy
won't
a whole
have
bunch of
no,
people's
no.
needs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a C corp and you're the only shareholder, you don't have to. There's nothing to force you to deal with other people.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you get investors in, if you bring investors into your company,
Hmm.
they're going to have a voice. If they get enough stock, they're going to even want somebody on the board
Hmm.
to make decisions. And I know, I don't know how this deal worked out, but I did have a friend, started a company, got investors in. They put like $8 million into his company. They started growing, kind of had started to have a national footprint. More investors came in at a later stage investment. He went from having 92% of his company to having 48% of his company.
Hmm.
And everybody's in his ear all the time. And he basically lost direction of what he originally wanted to do with the company. And ultimately, he basically started buying investors out, firing them, running them off, type of thing. I haven't talked to him now in over a year. I don't know, his number changed. I hadn't been able to get in contact with him, reached out to him on LinkedIn. never hear back from him. So I don't know what happened ultimately, but I do know the last time I talked to him, he was
He's
in
probably
the
ducking
process
because
of trying to get all these people gone. He just wanted his company back.
he's probably ducking because he probably gypped them. He didn't want them to find him. So, don't take it personal. He hiding. Well, I just tell people to grow as they grow, and um, because there's always reasons why you shouldn't do sole proprietorship, or why you shouldn't do an LLC, why you shouldn't do this and that.
Mhm.
And until they truly understand the whys of it, they shouldn't make any moves.
Yeah, I can see that because I think of all the time about the brothers there in Atlanta that make the laundry detergent products
Hmm.
and other things. Uh, because I know that to compete, to really compete in that market with Tide and all these other products that are out there, that they probably need a bigger footprint than just their subscription model that their business is on right now. But they may be happy with what they're doing. I mean, they may not want to be any bigger than they are, but they have a great product. So I can't imagine people are not shooting at them all the time to try to inject money into that company and take a percentage of the stock and help them grow and become nationwide or international in a bigger sense than what they are. Because I know they ship internationally as well.
Mm.
So that's think about that. I've got a couple of investors in my company, and happily their investments are not large enough that they worry about anything, or I hear from them like 3 or 4 times a year. That's it,
Hmm.
you know. But like I said, I know it's that one situation where, man, he was counting pennies and trying to pay people off and buy his stock back.
Right. Well, and to get a good lawyer or whatever, if I had a corporation and I owned 100% of the shares and somebody wanted to buy in, I would issue enough shares before they buy in that they would never own more than 49%.
Sure, right.
You understand? Whatever they buy in. And even that can be, well, you look at major corporations, they have the whole family of shareholders. So that somebody get more than majority share, they really had to be, somebody had to betray the trust of the family and sell out and things of that nature. So I don't have any clients that big that work that's worrying about that. So, but I'm sure that there are many out there that have to worry about that. But the bottom line, I tell them to be careful before you choose a line of business, not understanding how to operate a business, what format you have, until you truly understand it. And then the more they get to trying to do that, and their knowledge base is outgrown, they're at the whims of people that are advising them, right? And that's the problem. Then there's
Somebody
that
have a microphone on? I can't hardly hear. There's a
somebody in
lot
the
of
background.
background noise. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, that's good. Mhm.
I think it was there, but I think it was in an environment where you can't
Yeah,
control it.
there's a very large, happy Islamic family that's about 50 feet from me. We're very happy this morning.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
So anyway, you were talking with Brother Tariq, so I'm
No, that was because I enjoyed his presentation last night. I thought his presentation was excellent last
alhamdulillah.
night. And I was actually going to ask him, are you going to present Imam Tarek? Are you going to present again tonight in the
Yes,
program?
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Can you give me a heads up on what you're going to talk about so I can study and
Um,
prepare?
it's going to be uh uh what's that topic going to be about? Um, Concerning husband and wife being in being in business together and staying happily married.
That, dude, I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the 1980s, when I was newly married, my wife and I, well, I already had a business going, but she wanted to break away from. She worked for John Hancock Insurance Company, and she wanted to break away from John Hancock and become more independent, or an independent representative. So she signed some kind of independent contractor or whatever agreement with a bunch of different insurance companies and things like that. And so we rented office space downtown Dallas. We were not in the same office. I mean, we had like a little suite of offices. And our businesses were operated separately because I was doing something else in commercial insurance. She was in this personal lines of insurance. And my but we ran the money through the same bank account. Right? I mean, it's under one corporate heading with two different businesses, but we ran the money through the same business bank account. And we never had a problem with the money. She tried to run my business to the point that if there was somebody that worked for me that she didn't like, she would try to force me to fire that person. And it was it was the craziest situation I've ever been a part of in my life.
Mm.
And it was like 5 o'clock, 5:30, whatever you want to say is the end of the day. And we both went home separately, in our vehicles and whatever. And when I would walk into the house, let's say if she beat me home, the whole attitude, everything that had gone on during the day changed. Like he was a totally different person. But the very next morning, which I mean, I'm saying in a good way at home, but the very next day in the office, it was like a totally different character.
Mm.
And when that umbilical cord was cut, I swore that I would never in my life work directly in a business or be connected in a business with my wife ever again in life. It has to be totally separate. I will not ever do that again. And when all those people that talk about trauma, that's my trauma. There are basically three traumatic events in my life, and that's one of the three.
Yeah, well, that again, that's what I'm looking at the title now. How to run, how to run a business with your spouse and remain happily married. And I think, on the presentation, it is mentioning to have separate offices too, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
God, you got to. Oh my God. Yeah, man. Ah, I can tell you so many horror stories, business lunches, business dinners, where my wife said some stuff and people everybody had to get up from the table for a while, go refresh and come back. Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh man. What else is going on in the world? Rabani, are you planning any overseas trips anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm planning for the first of the year around. I want to go. I want to leave on the 29th or the 30th of December. But I'll have to see how uh, if we get the permits. Hopefully, we'll get the permits for one, two, three projects in the month of December. So that's going to determine my date, time. So yeah, I'll be going to Inshallah to Ethiopia, and I wanted to make Umrah before Ramadan,
Mm.
in January. So
Rabani, did I hear you? Pardon me for the interruption. Did I hear you mention residential construction too?
oh yeah, any yeah, we design anything, man. If you want even a doghouse, from a
Okay.
doghouse to a warehouse to a
So,
I did a abattoiry for slaughtering halal meat cattle, 200
okay.
head a day. Yes.
What
So we,
can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you? I guess I can look the word up, but you use the word
go
I'm
ahead.
not familiar with, abattoiry.
Oh, that's a slaughtering house.
Oh, okay. Pardon me for that. What reason I asked the
Okay.
question? Did you just uh uh you design and draw the blueprints, or you actually was in charge of the homes being erected and everything?
It depends upon the contract with the client. I mean, I've done both, but my
Okay.
major emphasis is in designing and engineering, making sure that the building meets code and meets the
Okay.
client's request. And then
Okay.
I will then adjust the contract to come out to visit the site and to see if everything is going as planned, and there's no uh, misunderstanding of how it should be built. You know.
Okay. Reason I'm asking that or making a mention of it is that I have a background in building materials. I used to work in sales and management in the building material
Okay.
industry, and
Hmm.
also I have if I should say, expertise in designing and kitchens and bathrooms, where I was actually using a 2020 program to design
Okay.
the kitchens from the blueprints, or go out there if they remodeling a bit, whatever, take the measurements and do the
Hmm.
design and sell them the cabinetry in the countertops, be it granite or the old
Hmm.
school laminate tops,
Okay.
and install them
Hmm.
as well. It's been years since I've done any of that, but I'm looking at getting back
Hmm.
into it only on the design end and everything.
I see.
Won't be selling the cabinetry or anything like that. And
These are
residential,
residential
yeah.
kitchens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
I have
We just got the permit. We just got. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, just one
Sorry.
quick thing,
Go
just one
ahead.
more thing. And also, I'm not
Hmm.
licensed, but I'm certified as an inspector, residential home inspector. In the state of Mississippi,
Okay.
to do it, you have to go and get your license and your insurance and everything. And I didn't do that. So I
Mhm.
just thought I would ask that question and make mention of it, and maybe something we can look at that in the future.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Again,
That's that. You know, that's
you know, we need more.
that's what we're looking. That's what we yeah. That's what we need. And now
Okay.
we just got the building permit for the new masjid in Raleigh
Mm,
this week. So
mm,
we're going to break ground. We had a break ground ceremony sometime the in the last week of December.
mm. And one more
Inshallah.
thing, uh, concerning
Hmm.
our Graceline, we got we got to do something because one of the imams in the section called me the other day. Sent me a text message showing me something that they are getting ready to move on in the way of a building. Nice building. I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about it was nice. They just need to go in there, clean out the stuff that was previously there, and
Uh-huh.
is ready to move in. But I said all that to say this. He mentioned that they're getting ready to close on that deal at their credit union. So that means they're using
Oh.
not our credit union. So we got to help and put
Exactly.
something together. Yeah, yeah. All right,
Uh-huh.
thank you. I'm gonna stay in here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna knock
yeah,
the calls
that's
again.
it. That's good. But no, that's good. That's you know, that's part of the reason why we meet, you know, so we could share what things that we don't know. So we, you know, we have what we don't know.
Mm,
You can't do anything. But what you when you know it, now you
mm,
have something to start thinking and seeing how you could put pieces together to make it feasible for everyone. You know.
and I said I wasn't going to say anything else. Hopefully, I can go to Ethiopia with you one day. I've been there before, stayed there about a whole month, and so what
Hey
amazed
man.
me, I told the driver I had him to stop because what I witnessed blew my mind. They were erecting buildings, not with scaffolding that
Yes.
I'm used to over here.
Oh, I
Okay.
know. With the wood frame,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
a
Yes, sir.
a
Yes,
thin tree
sir.
post. Oh yeah,
And then,
and listen, it works, man. It
yeah,
works.
I see it with
I'm
my own
telling
eyes.
you.
And and then another thing, I seen this brother lay like a sidewalk, doing it, the
Yes,
sidewalk concrete. I
with
seen
the
no level. You know
that's
how we
right.
got these 4 6 foot levels? I ain't see that anywhere.
Yeah. No, I know.
I mean,
But
I'm like
they know how
amazed.
to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there are things like I'm saying when you travel, you see these things, man. It just goes it reflects on the ingenuity that Allah put in human beings. You know, when Imam talked about the Mother Nature, uh, the human brain, and and uh, productive uh, a productive life. You
Mm,
know, you can't. You know, those three things are always in. Involved in the human being's ability to advance and make advancements once that once he see once he starts putting together things. That's what I think. uh, uh, Edward and I were talking about that, in terms of how we grew up or how we were influenced by uh, people who had hands-on operations that gave them the opportunity to invent, you know.
mm,
So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good.
mm.
Yeah. So yeah, just let me know. Let me know. And
Okay.
my son is building a home there, and I've gone over there to make sure that the contractors is doing what they should be doing, and I told them to what to avoid and what to make sure that they how they measure. Especially with stairs. You know, because you don't want to trip up the steps because one riser is a couple millimeters off. You know,
Mhm.
that can make a great that could cause a great problem. You know, when you put marble. You know.
Mhm.
You know, that was one of the most difficult things I remember doing when I was, how old was I? I was probably 19, is I had to actually build a set of steps, backdoor
Hmm.
steps, down to the
Hmm.
backyard.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
having never done that before, when
Right.
the guy that I was working for, he just kind of assumed because I could do so many other things, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he just made the assumption that something like building steps, 5, 6 steps, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
that this would be nothing. Because old pier and beam house, right? So it had to come up. And I think it was 5 steps. Man, let me tell you something. When they say measure twice, cut once. I
That's
need to
right.
measure 5 times and cut
5 times.
once.
That's right. Because, yeah, because you know there's a formula. That's why it's important to get your landings proper and your platform. You know, from the platform to your landing, you've got to make sure that you are. I'm talking about in eighths of sixteenths of an inch. You've got to have that right because if you go up those steps and they're out of sequence, you're gonna trip.
Yeah, yeah, you
You're
are.
gonna you're gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
You know. So and then if
And
you
back in
put
those
anything on
days,
top of that tread, yeah. See, a
back in
lot of
back in
times
those
you
days, there
might
was
be.
no railings.
Mhm.
We weren't putting railings on
I
steps
know,
back
man.
in those days.
Yeah, you have to have now it's not only do you have to have a railing, but the railing has to have a certain height
Right.
and it has to have a certain grip. And then the height of the stair that you have the grip, but then you have to have uh, a railing that's enclosed. So the railing has to be 48 and then the 36 inches for the hand grip. And then that hand grip has to extend out uh, 12 to 18 inches once you get down to the bottom and the top.
Now,
Oh man.
remember, interrupt. I want to make mention again. Um, at one time, I think I know. Well, I graduated in 1982, um, and I'm trying to. I might go back a few years. I know at one time, you've been in quote unquote building trades, a shop as they called it. That was
Hmm.
something that some people say, "Oh, that's for the dumb students and stuff like that." And in moving forward, I went through a job training program um, about 15, 20 years ago. Didn't need to be there. I needed some extra money. So I found out they was paying. I entered the program. So the instructor pulled me to the side and asked me, why was I there? I said, I'm trying to learn something. He said, you already know this, man. I said, no, I don't. I couldn't hide it. So uh, I did my best. I almost had the opportunity to be over a program in Jackson. Went up there, interviewed,
Okay.
et cetera, et cetera. So, but anyway, they gave it to a Caucasian man who was somewhat older than I was, and I understood all that. But I'm saying this: I know at that particular time, if you was in shop or the trades was like that, they looked at that as for the I guess they would say the dumb students, and that was so very, very untrue.
Oh, it's
Because
so wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Those
give
are smart
someone,
people, man.
yeah, give someone a tape measure and say, go over that measurement 9 feet 3/8 of an inch. They probably couldn't do the 3/8. That's math in
Hmm.
those
That's
trades.
now.
You can't
Yeah.
you can't you can't do it without the math. You
Right.
got to
Hey,
go out
Ed,
there, pop those,
but
set up the batter
hey,
boards, pop that string,
mhm,
that tripod, shoot the grades, dig the footings,
uh-huh,
math from start to finish of building that house from
Yeah.
start to finish,
that's right.
mathematical
But
calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
see, so if that's what they said, well, you are talking to one who graduated out the industrial arts program
Mm,
and went on to get a scholarship at Harvard. So they, they're not all of them that way. So
mm,
this is a no. I love shop. I love metal shop. I love wood shop. We had plastics, and
Leather shop.
now yeah, now you can't get. There's no industrial arts programs anymore
No,
in
but
high
Bonnie,
schools
they're
unless it's a
coming back.
special.
They're coming back.
Yeah, good. That
Yeah.
they
The-
need that in home economics.
so the way that they're doing it now is that most community colleges, most in the larger areas especially, and it's starting to get a little bit more
Hmm.
in the smaller areas, the community colleges are offering all of those what they now call skilled trades. They call them skilled trades now,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Okay. Yeah.
language,
Change the
right?
language. Uh-huh.
Yes, change the
Mm-hmm.
language. So most community colleges are offering skilled trades, and because they're there to serve the community. If you're in high
Hmm.
school now, you can get class credit to go to the community college during your school day and take skilled trades. And
Hmm.
it's and in some cases, like where my older son lives there in San Diego, the community college actually comes to the high school
Hmm.
to teach
Okay.
skilled trades.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and University of California system, I know, like at UCLA, Cal Berkeley, UCSD in San Diego, they are now starting to offer skilled trades at these major top 25 universities.
Yeah.
UCLA,
I t-
UCSD, Cal Berkeley
hmm.
have
Hmm.
skilled trades classes and degree programs.
Yeah.
So
Robots could.
they're starting to
Yeah.
bring it back, man.
Yeah. Robots can do repetitive um, types of things, but when it comes to uh, uh, a pipe that's broken and down underneath the ground, and then you have to change. You have to get up underneath that crawl space and then weld a soldering your copper or getting underneath that overhead copper well uh, uh, solder. Oh my goodness! So there's a lot of work there's a lot of work being eliminated, but there's a lot of work being created by AI.
Mhm.
So these are some things that people are neglecting, and they think that it's below them to get their hands dirty. But it's a art. It's not only a work job; it's an art too.
The funny thing is that like I have two friends who are pipe fitters,
Hmm.
right? And they both make six figures.
Oh yeah, pipe fitters. I always say pipe fitters can be plumbers, but plumbers
Mhm.
can't be
It's tough.
pipe fitters.
Right. It's a different business. It's a different business.
Yeah,
But the thing
you talk
is,
about.
when I think about
Uh-huh.
them, man, nobody sees them work.
Of course not. Mm-mm.
So if you're an individual out there and you're thinking that it's an ego thing and people are going to, you know, talk about, well, you're a blue collar worker, you're this kind of worker, you're that kind of worker. And come on. Number one, nobody sees you. You live in your own world. If you're a plumber, I
That's
promise you,
right.
nobody sees you
Yeah.
except that homeowner. or that contractor, usually it's the homeowner, even if it's a landlord that lets you in and comes back to check on you at the end of the day, see if you got it done. That's the
Man,
only person you're going to run into, except your own crew.
we had we had a brother. I call him the Fathom. He does HVAC, right? And I had a project down in Florida, Eatonville. I don't know if you know that. That's was supposed to be one of the first African American towns, but everybody say that. But Eatonville is where Zora Neale Hurston grew up around, and we had a task to reconstruct their house. I mean, it was all down. I mean, you believe I have the original pictures and the pictures which were taken before we started. And I said, Jesse Shabazz, right? So he passed, may Allah forgive him, grant him paradise. But I had a contract. I said, Jesse, come on and do the HVAC for me, you know. And this was we were in Tallahassee, and the project was in Edenville, which was right next to Orlando. All right. So I said, oh man, the time is going, and we're framing up, and I don't see Jesse. I don't see Jesse nowhere. Man, I I didn't even look underneath the building. When I looked underneath the building, all the ductwork was set up and
Wow.
everything. I said, man, I'm gonna leave you alone, man. I'm the
Yeah,
Fathom. I started calling him the Fathom man, you know. And he
right.
and he had look. The only thing that was left was putting in the grills and the directive louvers. So, and I was getting after Jesse. Come on, man, we got to. He said, "Nah, man, we got it. Don't worry about it." That time, you know. So those were when you talk about you don't see them and they get that work done, and then and then see, I was dealing with my students. I took them to a science building that they were building on campus, and I was showing them all of the pipe fittings for the sprinkler system, for the alarms and things of that nature, you know. And you can, and I told them, you can, you could make more than a doctor. What are you talking about? Six figures easy.
Yeah,
Seven, closer
six
to seven,
figures, six figures without the
easy.
debt, without the debt.
Exactly, exactly.
Because most all of my friends that became doctors, when they got
Yeah,
out of residency programs, they were looking at $300,000 to $500,000 in
exactly.
student loan money and things that they had to pay back.
Exactly. Hmm. Oh
And
yeah,
I was like, man, you're gonna be 50 years old before you're in the black.
that's right.
Of course, some of them made it much faster than that, but still, that's a lot of debt to be looking at. And yeah, these people that I know that came out of some of these what you used to call industrial arts programs that went on to get
Yes.
their
Hmm.
master's certifications, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
they were 5 or 7 years into their professional life, making six figures and buying nice homes, probably two nice
Hmm.
cars, but they didn't have any debt.
Right. Oh yeah. Go to the golf course every other day or every 2 days, every once or twice
Well,
a week.
right. Yeah, I mean, because if you're a contractor, if you're working on a project, and I don't know how you ran your project, Ronnie, but this is around Dallas Fort Worth area where I lived when I lived in
Hmm.
New Orleans area. Even when I lived in Atlanta, when I went out to see 4 o'clock in the afternoon, these people were gone, man.
I know.
I'm I'm still
They
I'm
get out
still
at
at work at
three
four
o'clock.
o'clock. Yeah, they're gone.
Hmm.
Enjoying the rest of the afternoon and the early evening. You know,
Exactly.
I'm in the office with a pen in my hand making notes at 7 p.m. You know,
Worrying about whether this
I
is going to work
know,
or not.
right. So no, it's a great life for people that like that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
know, we probably we should romanticize it more for a lot of our
Yeah,
young people
I
who are
learned
not going to become doctors and
a
lawyers
lot.
and accountants.
Yeah, I learned a lot hanging around with the trades guy, the brick masons, the plumbers, the electricians, you know, um, those who set the uh, tile, the Turks, man. I mean, I was with the Turks for a couple of years building this new town outside of in Medina, but it was about I don't know, a couple of miles to the Masjid Nabawi, Prophet's Masjid, and it was really close to the first masjid uh, that was built in Medina, and it was 15, well, I think it was 1200 townhomes and that were gray, and then another 12 that were brown. So it was quite a task, you know. But the infrastructure, street infrastructure, sewer and water, and stormwater, and landscaping, and the prefabricated walls that had to be set, you know, because we had to build a factory to do precast. And then we had to have our own batching plant for asphalt and our own batching plant for concrete. Everything had to be built. You first of all had to build a whole city for the workers. Then you had to build the actual city that is required for the Saudis housing department, you know? So, but that was quite interesting. I enjoyed that. And the other thing I enjoyed was building those that military base for the helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters. That was interesting with steel and the control towers. Yeah, and then of course, as soon as that happened, I left that about a month or two before Saddam invaded Kuwait. Kuwait was right up the street, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It was right from where we were,
So
After al-Baqi.
they didn't come question you about your prior knowledge since you left just in time. Did you?
Oh no, man. I was just looking at those Nike SAMs. They call them SAMs, surface to air missiles, while we was flying
Hmm.
in. I said, I hope they have the correct code word when we start flying in, man. So they don't cause an alarm and switch on the on the wrong switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was good. It was nice, man. It was it was different. I was talking about construction management. So I had a lot of experience in construction management and of course architecture and design. And then the practical applications, hands on, you know. So all of the so it was, you know, completed that circle, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I've done quite a bit. I've never done design work. I do not read blueprints. And, you know, of course, I've been, because my father, my father-in-law to be, even before I was his son-in-law, they made use of my
Uh-huh.
labor mightily.
Okay.
Lots of labor involved in
Oh, yeah.
home, especially home construction and, you know, other small structures and things of that nature. And, you know, the welding, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
I bought my wife a welding machine in Ethiopia.
that's a heck of a gift for a wife, man.
I know, man. It was but she loved it. She loved it, man, and she knew how to use it too. And then the idea, let me see. I did a lot of work that showed my children how to deal with brick lake. Now my second daughter, she has a shop in her house. She put together a whole shop in her house, saws and drills and stuff, and brick. Showed them how to lay the block and brick. Because I had a friend of mine, one of the Muslim brothers. We all hung out together, and so we just shared everything, what we knew with each other. So you can't. That's the real. You got a real community going when you have that.
Right. Yeah, you have the ability. You have the ability to have a
Yeah.
real community.
Yeah. I mean, especially for the young people.
Right. But we were talking about this. I can't remember. Maybe it been Saturday morning on making in the land of plenty, and there was a beginning of a conversation about involving young people of how do you teach these skills to young people. And I've always been an advocate of learning through involvement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that we're going to come Saturday morning, we're going to have a class on such and such. No, you have a project. No. You have a project.
That's right.
And you involve them in the project.
That's right.
Right? And you give them tasks, and then you help them to discover how to complete the task.
Exactly.
Right? Using all the tools and everything that are available to you, right? At that time.
Teach them safety first.
Right.
We don't go out there to get cut or fall off something and have your whole life ruined. No, because when you go on the construction site, it's a dangerous environment, and you can't assume anything. Okay, so those are the first
best
things.
Way,
and the clothing.
The best way to learn taping and bedding is for your uncle to tell you to go tape and bed a wall, right? And you sit there and watch one of the other guys do it, and then you imitate it, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody will come over and show you an easier way to do it, or how to not make this mess, how to make this cleaner, or whatever.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I did when I was in Ethiopia. I was walking. I was going to the gym, and I was walking up the street, and they were doing some landscaping, the beautification program that they had, and they had a lot of the young guys out doing the labor. They were using shoveling gravel, soil, and stuff like that, right? So I'm walking and I'm observing how some of the young boys were using the shovel, the point shovel, and they were shoveling with their arms and back. So I said, come, give me the shovel. I asked them to get. Now I'm pretty much dressed, right? And and I showed them how to, use their foot and their and slide their hand up to the shovel and use their legs to lift.
Right.
And I demonstrated to them, and they said, "Oh, yeah." And they understood. Everybody was. You can imagine now. Ethiopian people very conservative, so they see a guy that's, pretty well off, right? And they know I'm a foreigner, so, and I got down there with them and I showed them how to uh, shovel properly so that they won't be hurt their back or legs, because you don't have any too much hospitalization insurance and stuff like that over there. So they got the message, and I'm sure they have passed it on to the rest of them, because these are just kids coming. They're just, some of them are homeless, some of them don't have any place to live, and some of them have play wherever they live is not, is not in good shape. But and then jobs are very, very scarce. So I told them how to improve themselves and not hurt themselves physically, and still get the job done. But they don't have that kind of spirit. I mean, the adults, because they look down on those. There's a class and caste. That class and caste is still going on. So that was my contribution to busting that up.
Well, that's good though, because that is what back in the day, that was the going thing in our community. Nobody was going to let you flail away. If they were watching you and they were seeing you doing something that it was an easier way to do it, faster way to do it, whatever, it didn't matter who they were. They're going to come over there and they're going to give you some instruction. I mean,
especially
that's community.
Chopping wood.
Oh God.
That's right, exactly. Hey, look, especially chopping wood. Yeah. And sliding and knowing how to slide your hand up that handle, that axe handle.
Yep.
Yep.
Same thing,
Everybody.
I'm going to tell you something simpler than that. How to actually hold a hammer in your hand
Hammer,
to hit a nail
and
not wear your forearms out.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's the other thing. I didn't get to that part. especially a sledgehammer.
Oh yeah.
But a 16 ounce is no punk. I tell you that. After
No, it's not.
2 hours, 3 hours,
Right.
And you could always tell a carpenter by listening to the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
They say, how do you do that? Well, if he has experience, he could take a 16 penny nail, and all you hear is bam. But the one that don't have no experience, what you hear, bam, 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 bam. He ain't. No. We can't use him. I don't even listen. Sometimes I could just sit in the on-site office and listen, and I can tell productivity just by the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell the foreigner, you got to put a little pressure on those carpenters and those masons, And another thing is the equipment. You got to be careful that you don't walk into something, I had some brothers from Egypt, all right, on the site. They were doing some civil works, right? And I told them, I said, you need to you have to put barriers around the open trenches, And I said, you need to change your clothes. Take that thobe off and put some jeans on. Oh, no. They think that if you take the thobe off and put jeans on, you're kufar. I said, no, I said, look, do like I tell you now. So he wouldn't listen. So the trench, when you put in a pipe, you have to excavate a trench. Right. And the trench is usually around 3 feet wide, minimum, 3 feet wide for a pipe, maybe a water pipe or a sewer line. 3 feet wide is the width of an excavator's cup or shovel head. It's about 3 feet. All right. So he was one day he was walking on one. He had to go on the other side of the site, and so he decided he wanted to jump over the trench. Well, the thobe. You know the thobe. You wear a thobe. You can't stretch out your legs but so far. Well, it happened. He went to jump, and the soul wouldn't let his leg get over to the other side. He went down, down. And I said, and then he come back. I didn't want to say I told you, right? I didn't have to say that. And then the next thing I saw him wearing jeans, some way he could stretch his legs if he got to jump over something. You know what I mean? So I said, these are little things that you convey so you can save a lot of grief, man, and get hurt out there in that site. They didn't have barriers. A lot of times you didn't see if there was a ditch or not because it's on the same line. And you're looking at the same line, look like it's all one solid area. But those are the things that you learn, you live and learn, bro. So
Wonderful life.
that's what I meant. Yeah, that's why we have codes and restrictions on sites and building codes and things like that because there were so many people lost. You get a new building code every time somebody get killed.
You know what amazes me, Rabani? And some of these photographs go back to the early 20th century, 1917, 1920s, and stuff like that. Is these enormous
The boys on the
buildings that they
steel beam.
well, no, yes, dude. Can you imagine that?
Steel
60
beam. They sitting
stories
up there
up.
eating lunch.
Yes.
Eating lunch on a
Eating
wide plant,
lunch. Oh my
talking
God,
smack.
dude.
No, no, no,
I
no,
can
no, no.
remember I remember building pallet racks and being up
Mm-hmm.
30 feet in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Walking the beam, setting them up,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and being petrified. 30 feet in the air, I'm petrified that I'm gonna fall.
Shoot, I took my son out on a project that I was doing that I was involved with a Saudi, and they were building a retention wall, a retaining wall, right? And I took him with me. I said, just hold on to my belt. So we walked the eight, I think it was the 8 inch. It's about 8 inches wide block wall. And I said, don't worry about it. I said, you just follow what I'm doing. So eventually my son became a construction manager. He
Oh
graduated
wow.
from FAMU. I taught him. He had my classes. And I was teaching when he was a little boy. So yeah, he made good, he got this big house and stuff. And it's good, you know. So he did follow my advice. So
So now
nobody
that
want to go to college. I
man,
said nobody wants to go to college and get taught by their father. Hey, look,
you don't
I
want
was
to.
teaching a class. I was teaching a class, and my daughter, the second one, which was the one who was really inclined to the construction, I'm teaching a class in a classroom, and I have my doors closed. All of a sudden, the door opens up, and my daughter walks in and walks right over to me behind the desk and said, "Dad, I need some money." Boy, my students fell out, man. My students fell out. I, I couldn't say no. Oh, gee. That's an HBCU, bro. That's what you call HBCU. Human
Oh
beings
man,
cultivating unity.
there you go. There you go. Imam Tariq.
Yes, sir.
I've got, since you do research, I've got a partial program for you to do on starting small business, whether you're doing it as an individual or you're doing it as husband and wife, however you set it up. Because this is something that actually has come up, and hopefully Adam is still with us and he can speak to this as well. Is financing your business out of your pocket, out of your own pockets when you start a small business. Of the most efficient way to do that. And what I've found is by making loans to your business, properly documented loans to your business that then allow you to pull money out of your business. That is a loan repayment, and that not be taxable income. And how do you managing all of that? Because a lot of people just put money into their business. They need something, they go to their bank account, get $700 out, go buy it for the business. They have no documentation that they loaned the business $700 to buy, this, that, or the other, a copier or whatever the case it is that they needed, Costco or wherever. So does that make sense as like
Make a lot
maybe a
of sense.
topic that people need to be able to
I
deal
think
with?
well, you look for it in the near future. I'm
Okay.
gonna go look it. I'm definitely gonna go look because where I'm at today came about because of myself wanting to know
Hmm.
uh
That's right.
about this business thing. So I went to reading again, entrepreneur, Black Enterprise, Forbes, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how I created all of these presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't I guess I wasn't considering myself to be an academia person in school. I did the those basic requirements and came up out of there, you know. And even when I went to junior college, I went for carpentry and cabinet making.
Hmm.
And but still, you just ran into math. Couldn't get
Oh
away from
yeah,
that.
all the time. You can't get away from math.
So,
In
uh,
life, you cannot get away from
yeah.
math.
And the only other, I have some education in health and nutrition now by way of distant learning, and and that, and I only went into those classes to see if I can accomplish it. Yeah,
Brother
I
Tariq.
came out of there with a 3.9. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
Brother Tariq.
Yes, sir.
That was the thing that Al Islam in the Quran, when Muhammad the Prophet started uh, his mission. That's what gave rise to the people who didn't have education. They became the Al Islam
Mm,
inspires
mm,
learning and curiosity, and and that's all you need. That's all you need.
mm,
You want to know something, and you ask people, or you if you know something, you write it down and give that information to somebody else, and it starts blooming because once I used to teach adult education. Uh, when Imam Muhammad came in, he
mm,
assigned me to go into the adult education. Okay.
mm,
Now I had students who were in the 80s, 70s, 80s back then, and they were always curious about algebra, geometry, and I didn't use those terms because I know that would frighten some of them.
mm,
So, I showed them, like a clothesline, uh, getting a string and you're going to plant a garden or something, and some things that they know. And man, I'm telling you, bro, you remember the Muhammad Speaks paper where
yes.
the imam was serving that brother at the dinner table.
Yeah, I got that photo
You
now. I
remember
got it.
that one?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes. Hold on. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that was my
Um.
student, Brother Kareem
Yeah.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
That was my student. And they would be doing just like they would do in any classroom. They'd be arguing and said, you why you always asking this, that you had about, I had
Mm,
about 10, well, more about 15 students in that class. Man,
mm,
that was that you talk about funny. Some of the old
mm,
sisters uh, and the brothers,
mm,
they were getting at it, man. I'm telling you. You asked too many questions. Why don't you just wait, And man, and it starts the desire for learning starts just bubbling, man. And
well,
that's and that's that and that's why when you are teaching, I even this Juma, I gave the Juma in Colombia, and I told I was the second part of the khutbah, and I said, never say, oh, I don't like mathematics
mm,
because oh, it's too hard for me. Don't ever say that around your children. Never,
mm.
never say anything that you don't like in terms of learning, whether it be math, science, or whatever, because those are the things that these people have put in us to uh, uh, not give us the inspiration that remember now these people in during the time of Muhammad the Prophet, only 100 years later, they became great scientists that revolutionized science and industry. So you know those kids now they don't know about algebra or geometry. And I said you do that every day. The physics,
Mhm.
I learned physics by building a bicycle and hitting that steel gate because I couldn't
Yeah.
turn that 90-degree
Yeah,
corner.
man.
I said I learned about centripetal force. That was
Mm.
centripetal force and
If
impact. Oh,
I
come
want
on, man!
to make
You
mention.
do that all the time. Then I tell them, I said, look, in structures, steel structures. I said the piece of steel that you put is connected only on one part. That's called a cantilever beam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
It's only connected. It means that it's only connected at one point, like a diving board. Okay. And I said, now, if it's connected on two sides, we call it a beam, like the
Mm-hmm.
gymnastics, the gymnasts, the balance beam.
Balance and being.
But it's only connected on two ends. Now, if that beam is connected three parts, we call it a girder.
Mm-hmm.
I said, now that comes from looking at a tree. Looking at a tree, you got and then you have the roots. That's the and the soil. The soil is the foundation. The soil is foundation. Not only the footing, but the soil. The soil has to be
Mm.
strong enough to hold the footing. The footing has to be wide enough to hold the load that's going to come on it. Ask
So
any
do.
woman who's
That's
trying to
right.
walk across the grass fields in some high heels.
That's right.
She said, "No, I ain't gonna walk across there."
Yeah.
She go and
Sure
get
will.
what? Some flat shoes.
Flat.
So
You
I
know.
said, "It's look. All it is that the way you present it in the language.
Mm,
That's when you
mm.
get it."
I just want to make just another brief statement here, and looking
Uh-huh.
back on my upbringing, my father will always use these. At the time, we would say big words,
Yeah.
and we say, "Dad, what do that mean?" He wouldn't tell us. He would say this,
He said,
"Go
"Go on."
look,
Yeah.
go
Uh-huh.
look it up." And I guess I'm
Exactly.
living that now, because again, I didn't hold myself out to be an academia back then in high school and that. But I love researching, and
Exactly. So
yeah,
so
yeah.
why don't you call yourself a researcher?
Now I
you
got enough people.
don't have
I
to
got
say
enough
you are
people.
academic.
I got
Huh?
enough people. I got enough people now coming to me to try to look up stuff. I ain't gonna give me
Exactly.
that.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
right. And then you put that together, and then you
Yeah,
present it. And they
yeah.
be saying, and then they be asking you questions about business.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Now listen, bro. look, it's really a trick. This whole thing is about the psychology of people. If you can make them feel um, embarrassed or make them feel inferior, you got them. But when the Quran came, it liberated the people.
That's
It was a
right.
liberator. It
That's
was
right.
liberate from what? Chains?
That's
Yes,
right.
the chains of not knowing, the chains of being not having a feeling that that you're not qualified, or you can't
Right.
learn. No,
Right.
the children of Adam were made excellent, but we don't
Mm,
connect the excellence with what you're doing.
mm,
And no, you don't need to have nobody to put a piece of paper on your wall saying that you great, you great scientist, great
that's
mind.
right.
No, no, no.
Mm,
Your works will tell on you, and it will sustain you and the community as long as the
mm.
community lasts.
Well, I'm not, I hope
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just expressing what people have made mention to me and asked me. And this is
Uh-huh.
having to do with me being Muslim and being a student of the Quran and the
Yeah.
Prophet and our teacher,
That's
Imam
it.
Muhammad. And they have
There you
asked
go.
me, where did you study at?
What school did you go?
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
nowhere.
you know you got them.
I
That's right.
don't
I
nowhere.
told listen, I told my students, I said, if you use the language I'm giving you by a year or two that you are at this company, they will, and it won't take that long, but just in a few weeks, if you use that language and present yourself in the manner that I taught you in professional development, I said the first thing you know that when you know you got them is when they come to you and ask you, what school did you go to?
Yeah, yeah.
You got them.
And I hope
Yeah,
and
because
I
they
hope I'm
never
not
heard
sounding.
nothing like,
Thank you. And like I was telling a
yeah,
brother one time, I said, brother, the worst thing that you can do when you're delivering a cook bar, I say, particularly when others are out there besides us African American, don't put something out there and
yeah,
look at them so they can vet you. I say, don't do that. That weaken your message. You got to
yeah,
put your trust and faith in Allah
exactly.
and be in confidence in yourself.
That's right.
So, and when you
That's
do
right.
that, they're gonna say, "Well, I can control him or be whatever, et cetera, et cetera." But don't be arrogant with the knowledge
Exactly.
that Allah done bless you with, and remember where you
Exactly.
got it from. And because
Exactly.
you have to
That's right.
build up your self confidence too with some humbleness all at the same time.
That's right.
So
That
and
that's
everything.
one of the
Yeah,
reasons why when somebody always asks me to do, I said no. I said let me just yeah. I don't need. I mean, I don't need that. If
yeah,
but if you don't have nobody else, then I'll okay, fine. But I said you can do the kutbah. Use two parts.
yeah,
Give glory to
yeah.
God, Allah, and then say something positive for the community that to work on, act on, and think on. That's all. You know.
And so let me say this to
Then
you
say
again, El,
call a
I'm
band,
just reminding Elwood. I'm just a plain old country boy. So
country
I don't
boy. That's
have
right.
I don't have all that level of education in business.
And hey,
Okay.
look,
So I just
Imam
don't
Tariq,
let them put all
Hey,
this
look,
what?
Imam Tariq, when somebody say
What?
that to me, when somebody says that to me, I'm just a good old country boy. I said, man, get your hand out my pocket.
But yeah, all this wealth of information at your fingertips today with this technology. I
And
mean,
now with
yeah,
AI,
yeah.
man, listen, I was just going over something for what was yesterday. It was making in the land of plenty, and they talked
Mm,
about Imam de Lacy said this woman came up and said, "I wish I could be a Khadijah for some brother," and he thought that was power. He said, "Oh man." I
where
said,
you
"Look."
got her number?
That's why it was so powerful for him to hear
No,
it,
no,
you
no.
know.
I'll give her mine.
You got to get in line, brother. I think there's a whole lot of
It's all
whole
up
lot of
lining up,
people.
boy.
But I told him, I said, I told him, I said, look, I said, and this is why I was teaching at the university. I told the young girls, I said, look, women, I said, men fall in love with what they see,
Mm-hmm.
and women fall in love with what they hear.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known as the trustworthy one, as the truthful one. He didn't have to show off or put on fancy clothes and different uh, thobe and
Mm-hmm.
sandals and no, that wasn't that was not what attracted Khadijah to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. It was his countenance, his behavior,
Mm.
and he wasn't an educated man, but he knew how to treat people when you do business,
Mm-hmm.
to be truthful. And that
Mm.
is what attracted her to him. Because she was being courted by many men in Mecca. But
Mm.
that person, the glow of his character attracted her. And
Mm.
when he started, and when he said something, he he meant it, and he was not, uh, mis- uh, uh, you know, uh, dogmatic about what he said. He was not mischievous and cunning, trying to get up on somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So no, he wasn't trying to pimp nobody. And that's what, and if you want to find someone who is, I told my sons, I said, look, if you want to find somebody who is decent, I said, go, don't go to the club. I said, a club, even the word tell you that, club is something that's gonna hurt you. All right. I said, now you want to go to the libraries, go to the art museums, uh, go to places that are culturally cultivating, and I guarantee you will find some of the best people. And if you're looking for a partner, that's good. That's that's where people are helping children, helping elderly people. That's where you'll find the heart and the
Mm.
mind. So don't go down into the clubs and stuff like that to you know get your feelings hurt. You know. So these are the things that, when you're looking for a partner, do something for somebody else, and continually do it, and then observe. You have time, look, once you observe, I observed my wife for 4 years, man.
Mm.
I wasn't gonna get caught up in, in no foolishness no more. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And
Mm.
and that so and sure enough, man, you'll see that you'll see that woman feeding the poor,
Mm.
giving, fixing meals for the poor around the area where the church or the mosque or the synagogue is. That's where you look.
Mm.
Don't look in the weeds. You get poison ivy. So that's one of the things I mentioned to the sisters, to the brother. I said, no, that Muhammad the
Mm.
Prophet, he wasn't out there trying to, walk up on
Mm.
somebody. No, he was right in his nature, his Hanif nature,
Mhm.
his Hanif nature, and that's in fact that's why Allah created Muhammad, uh, and he stayed with his original nature.
Mm.
He didn't know nothing about no religion,
Mm.
and he got tired of the way the people were behaving, all loud, having the rap music on. He went up to the mountains. So, and there ain't a mountain big enough that we can run to get out of this stuff, man.
Well, I mean, but
Shoot.
Rabani, you don't have to go to a mountain and get in a cave.
I, no, no, I know, but
You can find your quiet place very easily. And it always amazes me that I hear people in our community complain about their exposure to rap music, pornography, whatever this culture has to throw out there for a certain percentage of people. I never see that stuff. I
oh,
literally cannot
Texas.
tell you the last time. No, it has nothing to do with Texas. Texas is one of the biggest porn states
No, I'm just
in
saying.
the United States.
I know,
It's what
I
I
know.
go after,
Your
right?
interest.
When
Exactly.
my
Exactly.
interests are so finely tuned to certain things that whatever this magical
Mm-hmm.
thing called an algorithm, the magic that it works,
Mm-hmm.
it knows better than to put something else in front of me because I won't
Mm.
spend even
Of
half a
course.
second before I'm clicking past it to something that is more in line with my interests
Yeah, I
and
know. I
where my
know.
soul is.
Uh, yeah, and that's what that and then you grew through that and you grew out, you whatever then did not fit that pattern, you kicked it to the curb and you kept going
Yeah,
till you
right.
found that equilibrium, that causes peace. I told I used to say that when we talking about uh I asked the I asked some it was either adult or adult class or students that I was teaching. I said, "What is algebra?" I asked them to define algebra. They said, "Oh, it's mathematics. This, and that, and that." I said, "No, no, no, no. Algebra is peace,
Mm.
balance on one side, balance on the other. There's no movement. It's peace." I said, "That's what motivated the great mathematicians to come up with algebraic equations. A equal equation. It's telling you something. Equation, algorithm, a certain pattern. So,
Mhm.
so I said it's there, and it's there if you look for it, and you have a sensitivity, a heightened degree of sensitivity, and you can come. You can. There are many other things in the creation you have no knowledge of, but it requires that you seek it. Allah says he every moment he's creating some new
Good
creation.
work. Hmm.
Mhm.
Huh?
Hmm.
So don't think that's the end of the knowledge just because that's what Europeans or people who want to show the world how knowledgeable and genius.
Rabani,
No, no, no. Yes.
Rabani, I
Hmm.
want to make mention of something that I have been using concerning AI in the form of a
Oh,
question. Who
uh,
created AI? I brought to some people attention. I say, did AI and create itself, or did a human being blessed by Allah create AI? Is that making
yeah,
sense?
all
Of course it
no,
does.
no, oh, yeah, no, yeah, of course. But the thing is that what it is that I'm gonna give you the key. Mother Nature,
Mm-hmm.
the human brain, and a productive life.
Yeah.
Mother Nature. You can't begin to grow as a human being until your mind engages Mother
Mm-hmm.
Nature. And then
Mm-hmm.
once it engages it, it has a curiosity factor that's already built in because you have an appetite to want to know who is your
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Where is my Lord? Huh? Why? Because you were in paradise, in peace, and obedience to that Creator before you were
Mm-hmm.
put in your mother's womb.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have that desire because it was created in you to find your Lord.
Mm,
Find your Lord. You see?
mm,
And how do you do it? Well, Almighty God is giving you the keys by creating the
mm,
whole creation and
mm,
establishing a nature, what we call Hanafi, the Hanafi nature. That's why Father Abraham, the father of advanced knowledge, advanced sciences, and
mm,
the Quran came as a book for the exact sciences.
mm,
That's it.
mm.
I
Well,
didn't
you
want to
all
give a
excuse
khutbah this
me.
morning, sir.
No, but that's
Okay,
I didn't want to ask the question, so I just wanted to make sure if I was
yeah, I'm getting ready.
I would say
I gotta go.
thinking right. If I was thinking right,
Uh,
because when you look
no,
at it,
you good, man.
AI didn't create itself. Some human person did
Yeah,
that with the
look, you
blessings of
knew it.
Allah.
You look, you
Yeah.
knew it before I told you.
Well, I just needed some
You just
reinforcement.
needed me. You just needed me to just give you a hint. That's
Yeah. Well, look, I have to leave at
and
this
Edward.
point right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I don't know how much
So
longer you are going to remain, but I have to leave.
We're
yeah,
gonna, if you
yeah.
want to hang with us
I
for a
got to get
second,
going too.
you want to hang with us for a second, I'll ask Rabani to officially close us
Okay.
out. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
we anybody who wants to stay can stay.
Okay.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Oh Lord, give us excellent in this life and excellent in the hereafter, and save us from the torment of the hellfire. Ameen.
I mean, assalamu alaikum.
Me, wa alaikum
Assalamu alaikum.
salam. You were going to ask me a question, Rabani, or you had a statement or something?
Yes, he signed off too.
He is gone. What's the rest of your day look like, Kathy?
I'm gonna make me some breakfast, brother.
A little. Okay, so we're going to call it brunch. Just
No,
gonna.
yeah, it's true. It's brunch now, right?
It's brunch now.
I was going through my menu and I realized I needed something. I went to the store while
So that's where you were.
yeah, I had to go to the store, man. I had bad. So anyway, I'm back.
Okay.
I was gonna
Sister
call
Felita,
everybody.
assalamu alaikum.
Like now, salam. Get on this. I missed the subject on AI.
Well, it was a quick question of who created AI. That was his question. But I did throw something at Imam Tariq as he's doing those entrepreneurial programs every Saturday morning about putting money if you start a small business, and I'm sure your clients, we run into this with your clients on a regular basis. Start a business, you may even have a existing small business, but you have a capital need, like copier may out. You got to replace it. Your copier, cash register, your whatever, cash machine, different things. And you go in your own pocket to pay for it. And people do that on a regular basis. They don't document it. They don't document it as a loan to the business that then allows them to go back into the business and pull that money back out and repay themselves. They just do it. I put 700 in, I'll take 700 out.
What
And
type
for the
of
most,
business? What form of business is it?
well, let's say that it is an escort,
Okay.
right? Let's say it's an escort.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to, even if it's a crude document, to say that you are loaning $700 to your business?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something called loan, but S corps. It can be a loan from shareholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So you loan the money to the business. The business can write the equipment off against income. and you can withdraw your money back out as a loan repayment.
Right.
You know, to be totally transparent, you would have to treat it as a loan as you would from anybody else. That way you have documentation.
Right.
And then you get the money right back out.
Yeah, whenever, right? I mean,
Yeah, whenever. And
Yeah.
and also with another thing with escort, that when you pay yourself a salary, and I encourage the people when they form escort to pay themselves a salary. And it's called a reasonable salary. So
mhm,
if I make 100,000 as a sole proprietorship and I make $100,000, I had to pay self-employment tax on that,
right.
which is 15.3%.
Yep.
Right? So that's $15,000 in employment taxes. Whereas if I'm an escort and I make the same 100,000, well, I have the same $100,000 dealing with, but I pay myself a $50,000 salary, or even a $30,000 salary, because the law says you had to pay yourself a reasonable salary.
Mhm.
So it can be a $30,000 salary. So you get 30,000 you're paying the self-employment tax on, which is like $4,500, let's say, for the sake of this description. And the other $70,000, you realize ordinary income, and you don't have to pay the self-employment tax on that. So you're saving yourself over 10 grand in self-employment tax, right? So that's the difference. That's why I tell people to form an S corp if they have a sole proprietorship and they're doing pretty good, making money with it, but they can save that. So that's a realistic, real-time savings. When you're talking about saving up to $10,000 in payroll taxes, that's a real savings.
That's big time.
So whatever money you make from the S corp is ordinary income. And whatever money you make from the sole proprietorship is not just ordinary income, it's also self-employment tax, self-employment.
Right. Yeah.
You pay self-employment tax on it.
Mhm.
So those are one of the things that I recommend my clients.
What
all the
what
time.
year did the S corporation become a possibility?
Oh man, it was it was it had to be in the 90s.
That's what I was thinking. I don't remember the date either.
And it took me a couple of years after that to realize, man, I need to form an S corp. I had an LLC
Mhm.
before that, and if you don't do anything other than that, it's a single member LLC, which is the same as a sole proprietorship. So
What's the difference for you between being an S corporation and a PC, professional corporation? Is it the same thing basically?
a PC, I don't know if
I
I can
see
do it.
that I see that designation a lot with accounting firms. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay, I'm not.
And I'm
And I
wondering
stand to be
if
corrected. I
that's
stand to be
just
corrected. S corps was
okay.
established in 1958. I stand to be corrected.
Oh, wow.
It's been around a long time.
That's a long time for people not to have taken advantage of that. Why would you be a sole proprietorship when you could have been an S corporation?
Well, they didn't. It's lack of knowledge. It's a couple of things. It's lack of knowledge. Most people don't have knowledge on taxes or anything else. And the other thing was most people don't know how to establish a structure that requires them to track their income and expenses other than a sole proprietorship. Now you're talking about getting some professional help. And most people don't want to do that. Right? So another thing is LLCs. There's another thing. I jumped on the LLC until I realized that for tax purposes, it's a sole proprietorship.
Right.
It's sole proprietorship. And LLCs came into existence in 1977.
Okay.
Right? So we're talking about two things that's been around at least 30 years or more.
Yeah,
And we're just
almost 50 years LLC.
50
Almost
years
50
on,
years. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Almost 50 years on an LLC. And now everybody's just now talking about it. You follow?
Yeah.
Look how many years of head start the people that had the ability to have knowledge had on everybody else.
Exactly.
But now we got TikTok, so now everybody know about it. Now everybody's jumping on it, right?
Yes.
So I found a lecture. If you get a chance to go back and lecture, Imam Muhammad made a few years ago. It's called Brain Power. That's been around a long time. And I think it's applicable, especially when we talk about what's going on now and people attributing things to Imam Muhammad based on, I don't know what they're based on, right? Because they don't want to do the research. And this is what the Imam is talking about. And it's talking about, to me, I can see a lot of what's happening today that the Imam talked about. I think that was in the 80s when he came out with that. So I want to I want to go back and refresh that and play that in terms of what we should do as a community, for the purpose of us as a community. Because there's a lot going around, and I'm constantly seeing people attribute things in today's environment to what they see the man would have done, would have talked about, or whatever. So I was asking him, hey, but take me to the lecture or the article or what you're saying. So I studied him. I'm not saying I'm perfect with it, but I don't get what he said and what you're saying as being the same.
So you said it's called Brain Power.
Brain Power.
Which subscriber network or whatever is it on?
Well, brothers, this was back in the day and what I was doing when I could download a whole lot of stuff from various sites.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it on my playlist. I got a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to have it or not or whatever, but I got it. And I listened to it. And I'm sure if we go to the study library you have, and I'm sure that, what's the other one that they had? New Africa?
Mm-hmm.
It might be on there also.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check on there then.
Right. So are you having the program tomorrow?
No, well, here's the thing. So I know you have your
that's the first one. That's
it's
the first
first.
Monday, right?
So there won't be a formal program, an announced program. But what I've started doing is if I actually do find one of Imam's lectures or any other programming, like on YouTube or something that I can actually show that I think would be interesting to people. I've done that. I did one of his lectures the last third Monday. Uh, I did one of his lectures for an hour. Yeah, I think I played a solid hour of one of his lectures. And of course that allows for there to be a recording of it that I can then take, and if I need to edit it or whatever, put it out on YouTube,
Mm.
under our heading. So I'll probably do something like that especially if I find something that I think is kind of fresh and very interesting subject matter. Because it's not whether or not, to me, it's not whether or not everybody jumps on it and watches it tomorrow night, but that we have it under our banner that people can go to and, watch and listen to it at their leisure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I might do something like that, or I did find I found a really interesting lecture from a sister on marriage. I think she's Iranian. I mean, she's, obviously she's American, but Iranian heritage. Yasmin Mogada or something along those lines. She has a really interesting take on preparation for marriage and building community life. But I mean, I'll do something like that. I'll play something like that for an hour for anybody that tunes in, and also, like I said, just for the sake of having uh, that on our, in our library.
Yeah, we have our 150 call tomorrow, so I'll be on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Get back to that, and the school we're supporting in December is Clark Muhammad Schools.
In Atlanta.
Yeah,
Okay.
last month we did Clark Muhammad School in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah, yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
So we switch up on it and still going, man. Still going.
No, it's something that has to continue, and I would like to make greater contributions myself. I'm hoping I'll be able to, in the very near future, make greater small contributions, and maybe in the next couple of years make a very large contribution, because I actually think there needs to be a fund that all the schools in our community can tap into for everything from tuition assistance to, equipment, whiteboards, whatever the case may be, different learning tools. I remember the conversation that you had with the brother from Milwaukee, just on them having transportation for the school.
Mm-hmm.
Different things like that, that there needs to be, an educational foundation or something set up for our community that's run properly, that allows schools to tap into it for legitimate purposes to do
Right.
things,
Right.
But what you're doing with 150, that needs to be a forever thing. That never needs to end.
Well, again, all the things you mentioned is needed, and that's one of the things the Imam talks about. When you had the conversation of AI, and they were talking about how it's developed, the Imam talks about us starting from scratch after slavery ended, and what we even during the time of Elijah Muhammad, starting from scratch. We got to start somewhere. And he talked about you got the spiritual knowledge and you got the material knowledge, and they're both needed, and
Right.
how some people can look at something and develop it and take it to a whole new level, but they were initiated by the spiritual knowledge.
Right.
They're initiated by the heart. The heart shows the concerns, and the brain fulfills the heart. What's in the heart? So we got a long way to go, man. We got to realize that there ain't no mystery God, and we got to do it.
Right.
That's our
Yeah.
responsibility.
You know,
So,
it's weird when you think about it, when you really place that number of years against human history. Because I read an article 2 days ago, yeah, on Friday, and it was Ken Burns has this new documentary series that's coming out called The American Revolution.
mhm,
And one of the points that he makes in the trailer for it is that we're only looking at 250 years of the American experiment. Next year is the 250th anniversary. And what a short period of time that is. And how people talk about the decline of the American empire, whatever. It's barely starting.
mhm,
It's still a work in progress. There's been no finished empire for it to start crumbling from being finished. It's a work in progress.
mhm.
And, when you think about, our journey, I mean, we're babies.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're extremely hard on ourselves sometimes.
Well, we're new people, brother.
Yeah,
We're new people,
right.
and we got to realize the law's favor on us. The law favored us, and to bring us back, the only one that can take credit for that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's it.
You know. So inshallah, we'll keep going, and we'll keep going, inshallah. And it'll be all right.
Enjoy your brunch.
Yeah, I got to cook it. Oh, yes, sir. I'll do that. Thank you. And Sister Khalila, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Khalida. And we will, I guess we'll talk to everybody real soon.
Inshallah. Take care.